Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Maryland APEX Accelerator webinar today. I'm your host, Yasmin Razak, and I'm the Marketing and Training Coordinator here at the APEX Accelerator. Today, the webinar topic is an introduction to government contracting, and it is led by Alex Peacock, who is a procurement specialist here at the APEX Accelerator. We will get started very shortly, and there will be opportunities for you to ask Alex your questions by typing them in the chat box on your screen, and we will pause for Q&A at the end of the presentation. As always, this presentation is being recorded, and a copy of the recording and the slides will be sent to you later today. For those of you who are not familiar with the Maryland APEX Accelerator, it is our mission to help Maryland businesses to compete in federal, state, and local government procurement processes. Our services are no cost to you. If you would like to speak with a counselor, please register on our website, marylandapex.org, and you will be assigned a counselor within about 30 business days. And if you already have a counselor and need further advice, please email your counselor. Okay, that's enough for me. Good morning, Alex. The floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Again, as Jasmine said, our training session today is Introductions to Government Contracting. So the information that you'll get out of today's meeting is really the sort of fundamental things that you have to do to posture yourself to be ready to do business with the state, local, and federal governments. We will have a sort of a question and answer at the end. Put your questions in the chat box, and we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. So, what is the mission here of the Maryland APEX Accelerators? Well, number one, we're trying to help you to compete in the marketplace, which is really the government marketplace, which is both the federal, state, and the local governments. Our role is to try to help you navigate through the process of doing business with the government because it is a little different from doing business just in a commercial world. There's a lot of rules of engagement that you must abide by in order to do business with the government. And so that's what our mission is to help small businesses who are registered in the state of Maryland to do business with both the local governments, which are their counties, the state government, which is the state of Maryland, and the federal government. So what is it that we offer? Well, we offer really one-on-one counseling for new and existing businesses on how to do business with the federal government, state, and local governments. We also provide specialized trainings, and there are various different types of trainings as it relates to doing business. Everything from, how to read an RFP, how to submit a proposal, how to market to the government, how to get social economic certifications, and the list goes on. So we provide that as well. We also attend and set up outreach events so that you can, in fact, meet some of these government buyers and participate into government sort of industry days to help you get to know these potential clients, which are government folks as well. And we also offer a subscription service called Bid Match, which basically will draw and pull procurement opportunities, RFPs, IFBs, RFQs, any sort of a solicitation that is government related, and provide that information directly to you in your email. And working with your counselor, once you're a client with the Maryland APEX Accelerators, your procurement counselor can help set that up for you. Let's go to our next slide here. Well, what is it, some of the things that we've done? Well, some highlights for the last fiscal year has basically been the number of hours that we've counseled. We've put in 2,000, almost 2,100 hours of counseling over the fiscal year 2024. Now when we do have a small staff. Our staff is probably 5 counselors, and we've got Yasmin, who is our training coordinator, marketing coordinator. We've also had help set up attendees to attend at over 2,600 events, which are these outreach events, which is really vital, which is important to your networking and marketing of your company to the government. The counselors have also helped to our clients to gain $74 million in contract awards uh, during FY24. And we're servicing over 900 clients, which are small businesses here in the state of Maryland. Well, how do we do it? Well, we do it really by three sort of, I guess you'd call it, columns and strategies of work. We provide counseling, and that counseling consists of government marketing strategies, how you must manage and market to the government. It's a little different than how you would market to commercial clients. We also help you with getting through the various government regulations and registering in their systems, which are really their point of contact in order to be able to do business with the government. So, for instance, if you want to do business with the state of Maryland, you must register in the eMaryland Marketplace Advantage, as they call it. We can help you register to be a part of the state of Maryland's Small Business Reserve. And if you want to do business with the federal government, you have to register in SAM, which is the System for Awards Management. It's vital that you register for those. If you don't, you're really ineligible to do work with these particular government entities. And also, each particular county, the local governments, may have their own registration process in which you'd have to register with them in order to do business with that particular government entity. Uh, we also help you to get the various social economic certifications. Like in the state of Maryland, they have what's called the Minority Business Enterprise, the Women Business Enterprise, the Veterans Business Enterprise, the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. All of these particular social economic certifications can enhance your opportunity to win business. The federal government has various different programs itself, everything from the 8A program to the Service Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business Program, the various women-owned business programs. All of these certifications really provide you with an enhancement to win business with these governmental entities. And just because you are certified by, let's say, the federal government, you aren't c- c- certified by the state and local government. So, in order to get these certifications, you will actually have to get certified either at the state level, the local level, or the federal level. We can help you with bid and proposal assistance. Now, we won't write your proposal for you as counselors, but we will help you to figure out what needs to be in your proposal to be responsive to the requirements. Because you, as a business owner, you're the subject matter expert. We can provide you with here's an outline of things that you need to discuss in your proposal to be responsive. We can help to review your draft proposal to see if it is responsive and provide you input or feedback as to how you can better your proposal or to enhance its ability to win. We can help you with the small business innovation research programs and how to go after those type of opportunities as well. And we can help you to figure out how to do market research as you're looking to go after business in the government. We can help you to do market research. So that's the counseling aspect of what we do. There are various different training and outreach activities that we do as well. You know, we have a series called How Do You Do Business With, which is the various different federal agencies. We can help you to train through our training how to go after and obtain a GSA schedule, how to be successful in contracting with the federal government, the cybersecurity requirements that you must have in order to do business with the government. And I did mention that we also have this bid matching subscription service in which it pulls RFPs from various different sources throughout the nation. And your counselor can set that up for you so that you will receive RFPs from the various different organizations, both the county governments, local governments, so that you can make a determination if you want to provide and bid a proposal for those. Well, how can you get the road to success? Well, part of when become a client to the Maryland APEX Accelerators, the process that we use to help you to become successful in going after government businesses, our first session is called the initial session. And it's really sort of an introductory session with you and the counselor that is assigned to you. And through that discussion, it helps the counselor and yourself to determine where you are as far as a checklist of what is needed to be ready to do business in the government arena. And so there are a set of questions which your counselor will ask you. He will try to dig a little deeper into where you are in your development of going after business. And in various cases, different business owners are at different levels. Some may have just started their business. So the question becomes, are they yet ready to be able to do business with the government when they've just started out? Some companies have been in business for several years and have been doing business with in the commercial private sector for years. And so now they're needing to understand how do they transition over to get into the government marketplace. So your counselor, through the discussions with you, can help to determine where you are and help to build a roadmap of how do you transition into government business. We evaluate your readiness to be ready to do business with the government, and we can help tailor a plan for you to really start going after government business. And once that plan is set up, and if you're following that plan, we can help you to execute it. And we hold your hand along the way. If you win business, if you need guidance on how to execute that business and how to continue to do government work, we're there to help you there as well. Well, what is government contracting? Really, there's three levels of it, and I've mentioned them as well. There's the local governments, there's the state governments, and then there's the federal government. The local governments here in the state of Maryland is typically your counties. Depending upon which county you're in, that will be the local government. And maybe you might want to start at the local level to be able to understand some of the bureaucracy and some of the challenges you have to go after government business. The other level is at the state level. The state of Maryland buys many different types of goods and services. And so you might want to go to the state level. And then, of course, there is the federal government. And the federal government has many different opportunities, various different goods and services that they buy, various agencies. And so that marketplace is huge. And in fact, the federal government, the US federal government is really the largest buyer of goods and services in the world. And they do have some statutory requirements that have been put in place, which is to do 20% of their business with small businesses. So if you're talking about a $600 billion marketplace, and that number actually grows annually, 23% of that is $138 billion. So there is opportunities there for small businesses. And uh, our role here at the Maryland APEX Accelerators is to help you to be able to get into that market and to share in those particular opportunities as well. Well, how do you get started? Well, getting started doing business with the federal government, there are really sort of 7 responsibility standards that you must meet and to be able to do business with the federal government. And one of the first one is that you must have adequate financial resources and the ability to obtain those particular financial resources. So what do I mean by that? Well, you've got to have working capital to do business with the government because unlike a job, you're not going to get paid every week. You're going to get paid after you've performed the work, depending upon what type of contract has been awarded to you, or you're going to get paid, be able to bill 30 days after you've completed um, a month's worth of work if you're doing perhaps what they consider to be services type work. And so, and you're probably not going to get paid any quicker than 30 days after you've billed for that work. So, for instance, if you're working, you get a contract that's awarded June the 1st, and it's a services contract, you're going to have to be paying your resources and your workforce for those first 30 days before you can then bill the government for the month of June. And then it's the government will most likely it's going to take them 30 days to pay you. And in the meantime, if that work is continuing, then you've actually are going to be paying that resources or those particular staff folks who are doing the work for another 30 days before you actually get paid. So you've got to have sufficient financial resources or working capital to do the work. You also must comply with their performance requirements or the delivery schedule, which is set forth in the contract. If there's a product that's due or a particular service or report that is required in a certain time frame, you've got to make sure that you make that delivery. And you've got to have a satisfactory performance record. Now, that satisfactory performance record actually starts even before you win the contract, because one of the evaluation factors in most contracts is what is your past performance record. And so you're going to have performed work for another client or other clients which are similar in nature to what the work is that you're being evaluated for to win a contract with the government itself. So, past performance records, which show that you've performed the work and you've done it in a satisfactory manner, that's a prerequisite for being able to win business with the governments itself. And you also have to have a satisfactory record of integrity and business ethics. You can't be someone who has been debarred by the government, or you have, in some cases, some contracts will not allow folks who have certain types of business ethic issues or even felonies on their record to do business with the government. You also need to have the necessary skills, organization, and accounting controls in your company to be able to do the work. The government wants to make sure that you can properly segregate your cost and your expenses for the contract that they have provided you against any sort of other contracts that you're doing work with. So you're going to have that capability as well. Um, let's go to our next slide. Also, to do business with the government, you're going to have to register in their systems and you're going to have to put in what your NAICS codes are. The NAICS codes, which is your North American Industrial uh, Commodities and Services codes and your product codes. Every type of product, every type of service that is done in the US and around the world can be boiled down to what they call NAICS codes or product codes. And as you register in the various systems to make yourself eligible to do work with the government, whether it's sam.gov or the eMerlin Marketplace Advantage, or even the local sort of governmental county governments, you will need to put in what your NAICS codes are. And there are ways to find those out. Most of the registration sites will let you search for the NAICS codes. And it's vital that you put the right NAICS code, because if you don't have the correct NAICS code, some opportunities will exclude you from being able to do work on a particular contract or go after a particular contract unless you have that specific NAICS code. Well, what are some tips for selling to the agencies? Well, the biggest tip is that you have to build relationships. It's important that you know your customer. It's important that your customer knows you. Um, People have a tendency to feel more secure and more comfortable doing business with people they know and they trust. So this whole part of networking and doing business, getting to know who your clients are, that is a major piece in being successful in going after government work. And you can do that when you're small business. You have to target who you're going to go after. You have to look at, maybe there's one or two agencies that I can go after, which, are buying the types of products and services that I sell. And that's who I need to target to go after. Because the government is so large, and there's, three levels of government. There's the local level, their state level, and the federal level. You've got to sort of be strategic in targeting how you're going to go after those particular agencies. You want to know what their mission is, what it is that they do, what do they buy on an ongoing basis, and how do they like to communicate. Some folks want to be talked with in person. Some folks may decide that email is their way of going after work. And you want to understand why they will select your company over the competition, because you're not the only one who's going after business with that particular agency. So it's important that you definitely consider, what is going on with that particular agency. You want to locate what work it is that these agencies are going to put out there. And each agency at the federal and even state level, and oftentimes is at the local level, they all will put out what they consider a procurement forecast. And that procurement forecast is really a listing of everything that they plan to buy during their fiscal year. And that document, which is usually in the format of either a spreadsheet or a database, tells you what it is they're going to buy, the planned time when they're going to put it out for bid. It will let you know whether it's for what they call full and open competition. It will let you know whether it's set aside for social economic uh, certified firms. So that can help you to target and to determine which opportunities that you want to go after. It's also important that you attend the various networking events and industry days, which are put on by these government organizations. That's your time to be able to get to meet folks, to ask questions about uh, the opportunities there. When you go to these particular industry days, it's not just a meet and greet, but be focused on what you're trying to accomplish. For instance, do your homework and know what particular opportunities from their procurement forecast that you want to pursue. And when you go there and you get a chance to meet the people there, ask them who are the folks that you can contact regarding that specific opportunity that you want to go after. It's important to know that information and use it to gather information as well as to introduce yourself as well. You want to subscribe to the agency's newsletters and any sort of current information that they have. That helps you to become more aware of what is on their radar as far as things that they buy and need. Have for yourself also a capability statement, and it's a one pager. And once you become a client with the Maryland APEX Accelerators, we can help you to develop a capability statement, which is a one pager, which basically tells who your company is, what you do, what your capabilities are, how you differentiate yourself from your competition. And that's important. And also make sure that you have a brief ability to market and pitch to these clients. Many times you're not going to get much more than a minute, if that long, to be able to talk to them. So do as much as you can with your capability statements and your elevator pitch, as we call it, to get to them. What do government folks want? Well, one of the things they want is to do business with vendors who are experts in their field. And even if your price is a little higher, they're willing to do work with you. They need folks who are experts in their field and who are excellent at doing the work that they provide. They also want to deal with straightforward vendors, folks who will be truthful to them. If you're going to have some difficulty doing the work, don't promise the sky and deliver nothing. If you can't deliver what they want, let them know what it is that you can deliver and why. So you want to be truthful with them and straightforward about it, and stand behind what you promise, and always be uh, deliver what it is that you say you're going to deliver. That's vital, because those same clients who you do business with, those are going to be the ones who are going to be your next past performance references as you go after more work in the government itself. So how can you identify which clients that you want to go after? Um, well, it's all about research. You've got to know and find the agencies that provide or buy the products and services that you sell. You want to gather as much information about them, understand what was it that caused them to award the contract that you're going after. Many times there are recompetes on contracts after every 5 years or sometimes 3 years. And so try to understand uh, what helped the incumbent contractor to win that, so that when you go after the work, you can figure out what strategies you must use to be able to convince that government agency what is required for you to win. You want to do the research and look for what opportunities are coming out and identify those opportunities, really, if you can, as far into the future as you can, because it gives you an opportunity to do the research, to build a network, to try to reach out to the folks. It gives you time to market to the government folks to go after these particular opportunities. You want to also create a capture plan or business development pipeline. As you identify the various agencies you want to go after and you see the specific opportunities that fit what capabilities you have as a company, create a capture plan and a business development pipeline. Your counselor will let you know what that consists of, but it's basically, who is it that you need to talk to? What are some of the requirements that are there? How can you reach those particular people? It's all of what it takes to be able to put yourself in a position to be a viable competitor to win it. Uh, you want to make sure that there is funding for those opportunities. And so look for the websites. There are various websites. The SBA has a website which helps you to identify potential prime contractors who are going after work where you can maybe even subcontract to that prime and do work. USAspending.gov is a tool that the federal government provides, which allows you to see opportunities that has been awarded and who was awarded those particular opportunities, how much money was spent under the various NAICS codes for those opportunities. So you want to do as much as you can to research these opportunities before you go after them. And you can locate many of these opportunities either through sam.gov or eMaryland Marketplace Advantage, and many of those solicitations are out there for you to consider. Okay. You want to begin the process of developing what an intelligence list. That's basically trying to find out, who's buying what particular things, who are the agencies you should target. You can find some of that information on usaspending.gov. Look for contracts which were awarded and contracts which are expiring, because oftentimes the expiring contracts are the ones that are being put up for recompete, and those are the ones you want to go after. sam.gov will have opportunities like requests for information, which is not a solicitation to buy something, but it's really a request to provide information about your company for a requirement that the government will be putting out in the future, which allows you to kind of posture your company to be able to go after that opportunity. Many times it opens a door of communication with that agency before the opportunity comes out, so that you can get a chance to network and begin to know who the buyers are, so that you can hopefully convince them that, your company has the ability and capability to do the work. There's information on Emma and their procurement forecasts for both the federal government agencies and the state of Maryland. Look at those procurement forecasts. Then the SBA has what's called Subnet, which is really the subcontracting network system, which tells you which prime contractors have been awarded contracts. They have what's called a subcontracting plan on file with the Small Business Administration, which they're required to put on to to file as a part of their contract requirements. And those opportunities, there might be subcontracting opportunities for you as well. So uh, developing that intelligence list is important. Find out how you can reach those clients. Find out who your competition is, what is their stronghold, and how you can mitigate that as you go after specific opportunities. So you definitely want to do as much as you can there. Watch for contract awards. Many times these contracts are repeats because the clients, the customers, the government will buy the same products and services over and over again after the period of performance of a contract has expired. And usually anywhere from 10 to 6 months prior to the expiring of the contract, a RFP or solicitation will come out for you to begin the process of bidding it. But don't start when the RFP comes out. Start before, to try to get yourself postured to be able to go after business. So it's important to look at those opportunities early in advance as you can. So track those opportunities, which is the key as well. Understand what the customer needs. Remember that when a contract is awarded to you, you've been able to convince them that you've got the capability and the resources to do the work. You need to demonstrate through both your proposal and even before, if you get a chance to network with them, that you understand their problem and that you have specific solutions for their problems or their requirements when they put their RFPs out. Um, when an RFP comes out, it's usually a pretty thick document, but there are three vital points or areas or sections that you want to know about. One is called Section C, which is the statement of work. The statement of work basically lays out in detail what it is that the government wants you to do and perform, and you've got to fully understand that requirement. And as you look at the statement of work, you got to be truthful with yourself to determine whether or not you have the capability or your company has the capability to perform all of that work. If you don't, you've got to make a decision as to, do I bring on subcontracting partners to help enhance my ability to do all of the work? Or is this opportunity really a little bit too much for me? And maybe it's a no bid. And maybe you're trying to find some partners or someone that you can team with and become a sub to them to go after the work. Then there's section L, which is the instructions to the offers of how you need to submit your proposal, what needs to be in your proposal, um, where you need to submit your proposal, how the proposal needs to be documented. That's an important aspect, because if you fail to follow the instructions of how to prepare your proposal, you may not even be considered for the award. And then there's the evaluation criteria, which is section M. And that basically lays out for you what how the government will evaluate the proposal and what the weighting is as far as the evaluation factors. Typically, RFPs will have you to do a management plan. It will have you to do a technical approach. It will tell you that are a past performance section in which you've got to cite, you know, customers that you've previously supported. And then, of course, there's the price. You have to put in a competitive price to win as well. But remember, important is to put your customer first, listen carefully to their needs, and to develop the appropriate solutions to resolve their problems. And you need to do that in a way that helps them to see that you're capable of doing the work that they need. What not to do. Don't rely on outsiders to do your selling. Some folks think that, well, you can hire a marketing person and that person can do all the marketing for you. Really, when you're a new company and you committed to that, yes, there's a ton of things to do, but the person with the most compassion for their work is you. And so you be the person to market your company initially when you're new. Don't rely just on marketing with the government by just, I'm going to email them or I'm going to send them some information about my company. You've got to try to network with them and build some sort of a business relationship with those potential clients as well. And don't think that just because you have a certification, whether it's an 8A certification, a woman-owned certification, or any of these social economic certifications, that you're going to be entitled to get a contract award. You know, the certifications can enhance your ability to go after work, because many times those opportunities are set aside for social economic firms, and therefore you're just competing against a market of maybe those who are certified. But it's no guarantee that you're going to win the award, but it's a possible opportunity to, as a vehicle to go after business. And don't rely on just having a GSA schedule. I mean, it's a GSA schedule opens up markets for you in the government, but just because you have the schedule, there's no guarantee that you're going to win. Again, it's important and vital that you build business relationships in order to win business with the government itself. Also, many folks may have and know folks in high places, such as the Congress members, or if it's at the local level, they're council members in the county or places like that. Don't assume that you can leverage your relationship with a politician or a legislator and that they're going to get you an award. And in some cases, that can work against you, because the government folks will think that you're trying to leverage them by using politicians to get you an award. So uh, don't try that avenue. That's one that we advise strongly against trying to do. And don't think that you're the only game in town. There are competition everywhere. And so you've just got to differentiate yourself from your competition in order to be able to win these contract awards. And you want to make sure that, you're not a jack of all trades and, a master of none. When you're small, it- you basically have to find your niche. Once you become larger, then you can be a jack of all trades. But there are opportunities, or if you're in the IT business, you can't be a great accountant as well when you're small. So make sure you pick the niche that you're good at, and that's what you go after. Here are some things that you should do. It's important to do your homework, ask relevant questions based on the market research that you've done to let the clients know that you know or you understand some of the challenges they have. Be persistent and consistent, but be patient because in many cases, to win government business, it may take you as long as 18 to 24 months to be able to win these opportunities. So you want to take your time, but be consistent as well. Develop a contract pipeline, and that pipeline basically will be all of the different opportunities that you're going to go after. Stay out in front of those, attend the various networking events or industry days. Put yourself out in the forefront of those opportunities. Don't just use emails to try to do your marketing. The most effective marketing is really getting an opportunity to have a dialogue with the buyers in these organizations. Learn as much as you can about the particular client and what are the reasons that, they need to know in order to consider you as a viable vendor for them. Don't be adversarial with them like you know everything. Yes, the clients are not, in many cases, subject matter experts, but you want to listen to their requirements, build a relationship with them, um, and not be mad or what's the word, create a hostile relationship with them. And remember that the government folks, just like these prime contractors, are people just like you as well. Okay, there are a number of resources that are out there. We have a sister organization called the Maryland Small Business Development Center. Their role is to help you to figure out how to get your business up off the ground, to start your business, to have a fundamentally strong business. Uh, our role is to help you to go after government business here at the Maryland APEX Accelerators. The SBA has the SCORE folks who can help you to determine how to go after opportunities. And there's the Women's Business Centers and the Veteran Business Outreach organizations, which are there as well to help. Um, what is your next steps? Well, you want to make sure that you're registered in the state of Maryland and that you're in good standing. Um, you want to make sure that you have a legitimate business resource like websites, a company email domain, a business account. And even though this is small, a thing like a company email domain, you want to have one. If your company is the ABC company, you want to be perhaps, John Smith at abccompany.com as opposed to johnsmith@gmail.com. It gives your company a legitimacy. Not that you have to have an email domain, but you want to be considered um, that you are a legitimate company, and it's important. Have a website which defines what you do and tells, companies or agencies what it is that they're getting when they contract with you. You want to demonstrate that you have past performance through actual work that you've done and performed and sales generated through that business. So when you're getting ready to do business with the government does not want to be your first client. Granted, and it's difficult, this part of it, you could be a total subject matter expert in the field that you do, and you may have worked for a large company, and now you're starting your own business, but doing becoming now the ABC company and that subject matter expert, they're not necessarily just looking at you. They want to see, has the ABC company with you as that subject matter expert done work before? With who? And so that can become a little bit of a challenge for companies when you first start out. But there's ways around that as well. Have a product that is and service that you're ready to sell to the government. Um, you want to make sure that you are legitimate. You know, Look at all of the SBA contract guidelines. There are many. If you go to the SBA.gov website, there's a plethora of information about how to set up your company and how to do business with government agencies. Look at that information, research it, do as much as you can. And once you've completed these steps, we can help you, to review an application and assign you a counselor within about 30 days, which can really help you to move forward in the government marketing business or government industry business here. All right. After you've basically had your first counseling session, we'll assess where you are in the readiness perspective of doing business with the government, and we will work with you to be able to go after government business and to posture yourselves to be ready to go after business as well. And with that, we've completed this particular session. There are probably a few questions, I guess, in the chat box, and I'll ask Yasmin if you're there to let's consider what they are, or maybe I can open it up here.
Thanks, Alex. That was a great explanation as always. So yes, this is your opportunity to ask Alex any questions. If there's anything you'd like him to go over again, um, feel free to type it in the chat box. Okay, here we have a question. How does an established business demonstrate, past performance with a comparable organization if the business has never received a government contract?
Okay. So if you have never done government business, that is not the issue. The issue is whether you have done business. So many times you've an established company, you have had other clients and customers in the private sector, which have brought the products and services that you sell. So their references, their past performance references, basically is just all that you need. So let's say, let's see if I can come up with an example. Let's say your company provides or builds uh, computer systems, and you've never did that for the federal government, but you've done it for other organizations. The past performance references from those other organizations will be accepted by the government because you've done that and similar type of work that the government is buying or desires to buy. And so the references from those particular clients can fill in that past performance reference for you.
Okay, great. Because we had a follow-up question to that, which
Mhm.
was, how do I get past performance when I've worked all my life as a W-2 employee?
That's such a big challenge. Now, there are ways to do that. Um, One way to do it is before you transition out of your job is to see if you can get the work done as a 1099 with maybe even your current employer. Tricky because, that's, most employers, a lot of employers don't want to do that. Um, but if you can get yourself contracted with from your employer as who what your company would be, then you have direct past performance under the company that you will be establishing to do work. Sometimes it might be, doing some things like maybe in some companies it's, maybe against their policy. But if there's, no policy against it, maybe you can have a side hustle helping someone else under the name of the company that you're establishing. And so there's some ways to try to build past performance under your company. It is very difficult to just go from W-2 employee to now I'm a company owner and I'm going to try to just sell my experience with, having done this work for another organization as my past performance. And the reason why many contracting officers don't accept that is being a company owner has a lot more challenges than just being an employee. As an employee, you show up to work, you do what you've got to do. Yes, you are a technical expert in your field, but as a company employer, there are other things that, or not employer, but as a company person or executive or whatever who's running a company, there are other things you have to be responsible for, which is a payroll, going out to market your company, being successful at the business, along with doing the technical work that you say. So to transition from being a W-2 employee to becoming a company with past performance, you may have to be creative in being able to get that past performance as a 1099, either through a side hustle or maybe if you can convince your employer to, to transition you to a 1099 and contract with you. That's one way to try to do it.
Yeah, this is honestly, in 7 years of working at this job, this is probably the number one question we get, which is how to prove past performance when you are currently an employee or you've only ever worked under another organization. We recently recorded a webinar addressing all of these issues, and I've posted it in the chat. So take some time out to watch that webinar. It's very, very useful and will answer a lot of your questions. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. We've got time for another couple. When starting out, does my revenue matter? For instance, if I'm subcontracting under a company that has been awarded a state contract, but only made a small amount, example, $2,000, does that count?
Yes, it does. As long as you've made revenue as a company, whether it's $2,000 or $50, you've performed that work, you've performed it well, that can count as past performance reference if I'm understanding your question correctly.
Okay, great. Another one is, let's see, how do I lay out my past performance? Should I put it in a Google Doc, for example?
Well, normally in the rest, when you get a request for proposal, they will tell you the format in which they want you to respond to the past performance references. And it usually will be such things as, the name of the company, the point of contact in the company that can verify and validate, that your company did the work. They'll want to know the period of performance in which the work was done. They will typically want to know what was the scope of work that was done and then they will want to know, was the work done uh, excellently, satisfactorily, or not well done or unsatisfactory. But typically, the RFPs, requests for proposals, in which the government is having you to respond to, will lay out the format in which they want you to provide that information.
Okay, and for our final question, I'm not sure if you can answer this, Alex, but I'll ask it anyway. If a
Mhm.
former federal employee that has recently been RIF'd, which I believe is reduction in force, but is starting their own business now, do you know if there are any ethics involved, ethic issues we need to be mindful of?
I can't answer that directly. Typically, when you depart from the government, the federal government, even state governments, they usually will have what they call some sort of ethics separation document, which will tell you what you can or can't do for a period of time. And typically, it will relate to not being able to sell back to that agency or to that agency for work that you helped to develop or worked on as a federal employee. But each agency will have its own sort of ethics separation, which will lay out what you can or cannot do for a period of time.
Great. Thank you, Alex. Okay, that's all we have time for today. So hopefully you've learned a lot from this presentation and we got to answer your questions. If not, feel free to email. You can either email me directly and I'll forward it to the team, see if there's any questions we can get answered for you. If you are waiting to be assigned a counselor, we thank you for your patience. We will get to you. As I'm sure you can understand, in the current climate, we are overwhelmed with demand and we are a small team. So we're definitely trying to help as many businesses as possible. So thank you all for participating today. Please check out our YouTube channel. We have a ton of information there that will really help with your self-education. And thanks, Alex, so much for giving such a clear presentation. Really appreciate it. So thanks, everybody, and we hope to see you again at a future presentation. I will be sending out the recording now, well, in about an hour, and the copy of the slides for you to review. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.